We are rooted in our community. Streamers and creators, they are our trunk. Those of us who follow loyally are the limbs and branches. The saying root and branch is defined as entirely or wholly, which is why I chose this name for my new platform. For the streamers and creators that will be my guests are 100% in on making a change, speaking their minds, and expanding others. Welcome to Root and Branch. Hello, everybody. How are we tonight? Got some great guests coming on here. And I'm trying to delay it a little bit because, you guys all come in about 5 minutes late. So, but let's get going. We got the first one here, has some brand new baby twins and he needs to get going. So we're going to bring him in first. And we'll see how all this goes with this guy. See if you guys know this guy.
Can't trust him, that's for sure.
How you doing, Dr. Josh?
All right, B, how are you?
I am not doing too bad, sir. Crazy Monday,
Yeah.
but I'm doing good otherwise.
Aren't they all? Aren't they all?
What?
I said, aren't they all? Mondays?
Oh, no, Mondays. I work in a doctor's office. Mondays and Fridays are insane.
Yeah.
Everybody's calling before and after the weekend. Oh, my toe, it twitched. I need an appointment. I got some guy on the other line that's got cancer and he's dying and trying to get medication. And this one's worried about a toe twitching. No, it's kind of like that. Not that bad, but you know what I mean. So this is how I do it. I always start out by asking everybody a little bit about their childhood, family dynamic growing up, siblings, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Just generally speaking.
Yeah. I mean, just talk about it. Like, tell us how it was for you. Did you come from a huge family with crazy parents and you lived out in the woods or?
So I don't remember a great deal about my childhood. It's one of the beauties of MS. So I'll tell you what I do remember. So my parents divorced. I have a full sister and then I have a half brother. Okay. And then I have now 6 stepsisters.
Okay.
So it's quite diverse, but it's been a bit of a journey to get there. But my parents divorced when I think I was 5 or 6, and then I lived with my mother and my sister. And so it was fun, sort of. We moved. I think I moved 13 times before I hit high school.
I was bitching about 5.
It's a lot of moving, but but it turned out okay. We were a very fundamentalist evangelical family, so I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. My grandparents sort of drilled the Bible into me from probably 5 years old or earlier.
Right.
We had this fun game that we would play called Who Am I? And my grandfather would say, I fought the Battle of Jericho. And I would say, Joshua. Then he would get more complicated, and he would say, I stole the items from Jericho. Who am I? He'd have to say, Achan.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah, but nobody knows this shit but you guys. Like, we don't.
It's like what's relevant to life, what's important. Yeah,
right.
It's not terribly relevant. So but that was good. It's good.
Yeah. No, but I mean that's good though. It still expanded your mind, and you still learned stuff, and got you where you are. So high school right into college?
No. So I graduated early, sort of. A little early anyway. And I was 17. I went right into the Air Force. I had my 18th birthday in basic training. It's a huge party. Kidding. There was no party.
No, there was no party. I remember that. There's no party.
No party.
Until the day you graduate, and then you're all like, let's go get drunk.
Right. And then for some reason, like half of the people in your flight will decide that once they're on the bus leaving basic training that they can flip off their drill instructor. like somehow there's immunity once you're on the bus, and then of course they realize that they can stop the bus and pull you off and send you back 3 weeks, in basic training. So, but yes, it's survival of the fittest. Hey, do you want to come say hi? Oliver has snuck out of bed.
Aw.
He would like to come say hi. Oh my goodness. Can you say hi?
Hi, Oliver. Look at that hair. It's getting so long.
What do you have?
You have good, nice hair. Oh, you have an apple?
Is it an
apple?
Oh. And mommy has found you.
Uh-oh.
Can you say bye? Say bye, Jen.
Bye.
Bye, Oliver.
I love you.
Go back to bed, buddy.
Go back to bed, goof. That's what he does. It's his ritual.
Oh my God, you have beautiful children. It's great. Yeah, I know. He always sneaks in whenever you're on with Skylar or whatever, too.
Such a goofball. I'm being sneaky.
Right. And I have an apple, and Mom knows exactly where I am. Okay, so you went in basic training, and then what happened after that?
Yeah, I went. So I was enlisted, so I went to tech school, and then I got. I'm from Maryland, born and raised, and then I joined the Air Force to see the world. So they stationed me in Dover, Delaware.
I was gonna say in Maryland.
Yeah, it's
damn near.
And then they sent me TDY to Andrews Air Force Base. So it's like
okay,
right here in Maryland. So
yeah.
But I was enlisted for 6 years as an aircraft mechanic. So I worked on radios and radar, and then I got commissioned as a second lieutenant as a chaplain candidate. So I did that for I guess 4 years, and then got out right around 10. So
wow,
yeah,
wow. So you went to seminary after that?
During
okay,
yeah. So I got my bachelor's degree from Liberty University while I was enlisted, which then allowed me to get commissioned. And the chaplain program that I was in, you had to be enrolled in a seminary program. So while I was doing that, I got most of it done while I was a chaplain candidate. But then I got out and finished it up, and then got accepted at Johns Hopkins to do the PhD program. So that it all worked out pretty well.
Yeah. So at what point did you say, "Oh, this is bullshit"? When did that happen for you? Because I mean, I usually don't talk about like atheism or religion on this, but it was such a huge part of your life, so I have to ask about that.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's very frustrating in some ways what happened, because I was I was finishing up my master's in theology. I was pastoring that church out in Virginia. I was a chaplain in the jail. I was, this was very much my life. And I toyed with the idea of going to seminary at Dallas Theological Seminary, or, one of these other evangelical schools. And one of my professors at seminary, somewhat ironically, I guess, said, if you really want to do, the Old Testament well, you want to learn East Semitic languages. So really, study Akkadian. And so Johns Hopkins is a great school for that.
Okay.
So of course that was where I lost my faith. So it's sort of ironic, but a
little bit.
Yeah, it was that first semester there at Hopkins that was like, learning Sumerian and Akkadian, and then reading all the literature from the ancient Near East, and then studying ancient Near Eastern history, particularly of Syria and Palestine. And it was like, this just doesn't fit with the fundamentalist evangelical hermeneutic or interpretation or whatever that I had. And so it was just, pretty quickly, actually, and kicking and screaming. That's how I like to call it, because I was not happy. Leaving Christianity.
Well, I mean, you devoted your life to that. I mean, who would be, that would be like being a client scientist and going all the way through school, and you're doing all this work, and you're working for NASA, and then all of a sudden, God.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't like I was angry or something. It was like I was really, really sad, because it was like, oh my, like everything that I've built my life upon and the core of who I am, I don't believe anymore.
Yeah.
It was really sad. It was a sad time.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
imagine. When did you and Megan meet?
yeah, she came to Hopkins, when I was I was starting my fourth year, and every grad student that comes and applies to the department, once they meet with the professors, they also have lunch with the grad students. And I was just enamored with her. Of course, I was married to my ex-wife at the time, but I was, dead, not buried. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not this phrase. What is it? It's uh, married, not buried. That's what it is. I really
Married,
screwed
not
that up.
buried. Okay.
Married,
I
not
like that
buried.
even better. That's great.
Yeah, but somebody's gonna clip that and be like, "Yeah, this guy's smart, isn't he?" But yeah, so I found myself, you know, telling her once she got accepted, I was like, "Hey, do you need me to like show you how the library works?" That she's like coming from a school out in the UK. She's got, a master's degree from out there. She's like, I know how a library works, but ours is kind of weird.
Yeah, I
There are
should
books.
really spend lots of time with you at the library, and we should go over a lot of stuff.
It's like these are books here, but then there are other ones over here. So it's kind of complicated. It was for me, so but it worked out sort of well, because my ex-wife, for completely unrelated reasons, left me, which was the right move on her part. By the way, we were not good together, and
Yeah.
she's much happier now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, but
That's
then
excellent.
That freed me and Megan to get together, and it's been sunshine and rainbows ever since.
Oh
So
yeah, I bet, baby. No, how long you guys been together now?
5 years, June 11th. So we just
Wait a minute,
celebrated
you had all
5 years.
kids in 5 years?
No, the two were
Oh,
from my
previous.
previous
Oh,
marriage.
okay, okay. That's why I only knew about Oliver.
That's right. Yep.
Got it. Okay. See, now I'm not telling nuts. I was like, I've only ever seen one kid. I swear to God.
Right.
Where's he hiding the other
Right.
two?
Yeah, the other two
That
are
makes more sense.
8 and 14. So
Okay, rock on.
14-year-old is always in her room, and the 8-year-old is dancing around to whatever music she can find. So
Cool. Do her and Megan get along well? The ex and Megan.
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, good.
Like
I mean,
thick
Megan's
as
so
thieves.
personable and,
Yeah.
and wonderful and intelligent. I can't imagine her being an asshole to somebody unless
No,
they gave her
no.
one hell of a good reason.
No, she gets the girls every weekend, and so when she comes over to pick them up, I make her a latte, and they sit and chat for a good hour or so.
Oh, that's
So
good.
it's,
That's good.
yeah,
No, it's important to have
nice.
that communication between
Yeah.
what's going on. What are they doing over here? Well, they're doing this over
Mhm.
there, Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, we all get along
Awesome.
really, really well. So it's nice.
So, one of the things I've always been amazed about the two of you, because you seem so in love and so crazy about each other, and here she is religious and you are not now.
Yeah.
So what did that do to your relationship? How did you guys work through that? Do you just not discuss it? That's what I do.
No, I mean we do. I mean, there's really nothing to work through. See, the thing is, maybe I think sometimes people have a hard time believing this. I'm not really her type of Christianity. I don't have a problem with at all.
Okay.
And it's the type of Christianity that says, "I love everyone," right? And
Okay.
Jesus was a great guy, and he had great things to say, and God works in mysterious ways, and
Right.
and I don't really understand it all, and I don't have to understand it all. And
Yeah.
so like
So she's not like tossing Bibles at people and calling them sinners on the streets and waving crosses around. Okay. Yeah.
no, not
So
in the slightest.
a modern day calm religious person.
Yes, like I'll tell you, like we go to an Episcopal church,
Uh,
and like I taught before COVID. I was teaching, helping teach one of the Sunday school classes, and it's just they're great people, but the things that they care about, like the doctrine's not really a thing, theology is not really a big thing. What they care about is they have a food bank, that they run. That's right attached to the church,
Right.
and that's a huge deal. Making sure everybody in the community has food, and
Oh, well, I mean,
you
you can't be
know,
mad at him for that.
yeah, and I mean, like we do these things called the Big Conversation every year.
Mhm.
And the first year that we were there, it was all in race relations. So we read several books and did like book study groups or whatever on different ways that we can help mend the community locally
Right.
from racial problems. And it was great. They're just great people.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
that's the kind of faith that I'm all about.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So do you still have like good relationships with your parents and step and full blood siblings and everything?
yeah, it can get. I try to steer clear of like theological conversations because I think it probably makes them uncomfortable, and it doesn't make me feel very comfortable because they're very much fundamentalist evangelical Christians, and I love them, they love me. It's but they know where I stand, and uh, I have to say periodically, like I'm not happy. I'm not happy
Right.
that I've lost my faith. I want you to think that, but
Yeah.
I just have to go with what I believe. I'm convinced
Yeah.
of. So
Yeah. I mean, it's never easy to get smacked in the face with information and realize you've been walking down the wrong road for as long as you did.
yeah,
So yeah, I can't imagine. That's kind of like when my mother died,
mm,
I wasn't really a believer, but she was,
yeah,
so then I was mad, like, dude, she's prayed to you her whole life.
yeah,
You couldn't do anything to fucking help her. You
yeah,
couldn't save the life of a mother of 7.
yeah,
So then I was like, fuck you, you don't exist. And that just cemented it in for me.
mm,
And then my sister died, same thing. She prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed, and
mm,
she died. And I was like, see, I fucking told you. You don't fucking
mm,
exist. I'm done. I'm never going to look up at the sky and tell you to fuck off again because I'm talking to nothing. And that was the
mm,
last time I cussed at the sky. But yeah, no, it's even though I don't believe, they believed, and you'd think they'd get some kind of relief or something good, but there was just nothing. And I was like, see, you
yeah,
just proved me right. This
yeah,
whole thing has proved me right. So
yeah,
why would I ever go, oh, I'm going to go to church now and I'm going to, no. Yeah.
yeah.
So definitely not.
It's all very complicated. Like certainly not like an anthropologist or anything, but
Yeah.
humans are complicated, and
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
spirituality and religion. It's very complex, and what it does for different people and how it helps some and hurts others. It's strange. It's above my pay
Yeah.
grade.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's like psychologist shit right there.
right,
There's lots of deep stuff in that. That's a deep rabbit hole. We're not going down it tonight, Josh.
right. Not tonight.
Maybe
Not tonight.
maybe later if you could talk still. All right, so I'm gonna switch over to our next guest. Thank you for coming, Josh. If you need to
Of
hop
course.
off
Yeah, I
when
probably will, just because I
that's
have a feeling
fine.
I heard the
If you want to
babies
come
wake
back
up.
later, we're gonna do an after party. Let me know. I'll shoot
Awesome.
you a link. Okay.
All right. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thanks for having me on, B.
No, thank you. Thank you. It was great talking to you,
All right.
buddy.
Good talking to you.
Appreciate you. All
Bye.
right. Bye. All right, everybody. Number 2. And just to keep it fair, I just go by what order people came back to me and said, yes, I would love to do it. So the next person we have is Miss Wonder Lady Faye.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay.
Okay, that's it. We'll just say hang out. No, I'm kidding. So same question for you. What was your family dynamic like growing up?
3-generation household.
Ooh. So crowded.
No, not
Oh.
crowded.
So brothers and sisters?
No, not
Oh,
until later on in life when I found half sisters.
Oh, and which I would assume those were on your father's side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he had children he didn't know about or didn't tell anybody?
Well, they got divorced when I was 4. So I,
Okay.
didn't really grow up with him. Didn't
Oh,
talk to him
okay.
again until I was in my 30s.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
and
can dig it.
we moved across country.
Oh, yeah. Well, that doesn't help much, does it? Yeah. Um, so who else lived in the house with you and your mother? Like her parents or
Well, yeah, her parents.
okay. All right. I can dig it. And so how much of an influence were your like obviously you basically had three parents, didn't you?
Oh, many more than that, because uh, there were a lot of elderly in the community, and everyone was called aunt and uncle.
Oh, okay.
So, it was more like 50 grandparents constantly looking and saying, "Oh, I saw her. I saw her. She had a soda." You know.
She was writing on that wall with a pencil. I saw it.
Oh, I never stepped out of line.
Well, I bet not. Not with so basically all the neighbors were parents too, is what you're saying. Like everybody just
Right.
watched each other's kids and had each
Well,
other's phone numbers and
there weren't hardly any children in the area. I was like one of the only ones, unless it was summertime and people's grandchildren were visiting.
oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see. I see. That's interesting. And you grew up in did you grow up in New York?
No, I was born in California. I grew up in
Okay.
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. That's
I'm
it.
in New
Okay.
York now.
Okay. See, that's where I got confused. And
Yeah.
at what point did you leave California and come over to the East Coast?
I was around like 6 or 7.
Okay.
We took a
Okay.
train.
You took oh, that's great. I love trains.
The train was
I
in
met
an accident.
I've I have a real it was in an accident?
Yeah, the
God,
conductor
Faye.
and his I guess assistant, they died. Our window got shattered. We had to switch trains. It was, yeah, interesting.
That's that's amazing. That is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So you were 6 years old then. So then you guys moved to New Jersey and you lived there until you were out of the house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Rock on. And did you like go to college or
Yeah.
what? Okay. What'd you go to college for?
I have a bachelor's in English literature.
Wow. I didn't even know that. I'm a little
Yeah.
impressed right now. That's awesome. Because
I'm
I know
in
you've had some crazy jobs, so I didn't know if you had did the
I'm
college
in
thing or
the
not.
International English Honor Society, so
Oh damn. Snap. Well, we're gonna kick her off now. She's too smart for us guys.
no. AKA I'm good to work at Burger King, so
Oh, whatever. Whatever. So, okay, so slightly personal question. How come you're single? Are you just intolerant or you just haven't found the right one?
I don't really believe in marriage.
Okay. So you're
So,
go
I
ahead.
mean, even when I was little, I thought the idea of walking down the aisle was a bit disgusting.
I never really thought about it till I was older because I never thought I want to get married to a man and have kids. So I never really thought about marriage. Because when I
Mm.
grew up, gay people weren't allowed to get married. So it was just never in my sights.
I just thought it was disgusting. I'm not property, that type of thing, and I didn't want children, so what's the point?
Fair enough. Fair enough. So you've never like tried to find a life partner or anything, just someone you can spend time with, even in a casual kind of sense? Because I know some people do that. They'll live
I was with
separate and
someone for 10 years, but then I decided that they were not a fit, and I knew at the time that they wanted to get married and have kids, and it was like, not me.
right,
You're
right.
barking up the wrong tree if you think I'm going to change for you. So,
Oh yeah, no, Faye's not gonna. Anybody that knows Faye, anybody, yeah, she's not gonna change for you. Um, so with this modern day and age, have you tried looking again? Because people are more open to that stuff now. People are a lot less old fashioned than they used to be.
quite honestly, I would still have to date my age group. It's not like I'm 20, so
Well,
uh
35, whatever.
I'm much older than that.
I know you are. Just try to help you out a little bit.
But like, no, I just No, just no.
Just no.
Absolutely no. No. Like, I don't know. I haven't met anyone who just. Mm-mm.
Caught your attention or like that, right?
Right, and
So
I'm not
where'd
looking
you go to
either.
college?
I'm not saying.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. No worries there. No worries there.
It's
I was
okay.
just wondering if you did one of those, like, go all the way out of town and end up in Oklahoma or something. So,
No, no, no.
oh, okay, you're able to
It's a
stay local.
university, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. So you said you ended up finding out you had two stepsisters. Is that what you said?
Well, half sisters
Well,
and
okay, yeah,
three, so that was
three of them.
interesting. One of them called me, and she knew all the information except for my birthday. So, uh, yeah,
Yeah.
because my dad couldn't remember my birthday.
Ow! Wait a minute. Let me rub my ass real quick. That hurt a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. That's okay. My dad wouldn't know mine either. He called one time and asking me to wish him a happy Father's Day, and it was the day after my birthday, and he never even said happy birthday to me.
Oh dear.
It's like, you're a dick. I'm so done talking to you.
Well,
No,
the
so I
sister
get
who
that.
came after me, they gave my name to. So she's my replacement.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm starting to understand why you might be a little bitter here, Faye. Yeah. So do you have a relationship with any of them then? Or,
The sisters, yeah.
yeah? Well,
My
that's
brother
good.
calls me occasionally, but I was
Yeah.
in my 30s until I heard his voice and actually knew who he was. Like it wasn't a baby anymore. So
Right. Right. I just want to let you know that Purple said if you don't want to date, if you want to date someone who's 50, then just get two 25-year-olds.
no, because I don't want to raise
Purple.
them.
Right. I know. See, people tell me that, oh, go out and find somebody younger. And I'm like, no, because then I got to, no, I wiped my kid's ass. I'm done with that. He's 30. And if I go too much younger, then I could have gave birth to them. So no, I'm not, I'm good with that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I don't want to
interesting.
raise anybody.
Yeah, no, not at all. So the other question I wanted to ask you is, what kind of hobbies do you have
Mhm. Uh,
besides chasing cats around your house?
Way too many to list. I'm a bit of a trivia junkie, so
Oh,
uh,
oh, that's cool.
I,
So
of course, I read too much, and with my eyesight failing, I'm listening to audiobooks a lot. So that's something that takes a lot of time. But I
yeah.
draw a little. I, you know, do things. I drive firemen to volunteer firemen to classes, and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, I have a lot of little things going on all the time, so
Yeah.
I'm
Well, so
boring.
you're never bored and lonely because you have people you know and you have lots of things to keep you busy. So that's good.
Oh, I wouldn't be bored and lonely if I had nobody around. There's
You know,
always a
honestly,
book.
I think I'm becoming an introvert because I'm just to the point where, like, I had a great time this weekend. I went out on a date yesterday. The day before that, I went to like a little party thing at my boss's house, and it was great. But I was exhausted, and I was like, I just want to go home, and I want everybody to leave me alone because I have to go to work tomorrow.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I get it. I don't think I'd ever, as long as I have like this, this community to talk to randomly. I don't even if my channel, even if I killed my channel, I wouldn't care because there's so many places to talk to people and so many different conversations and places to hang out. So I
Yeah.
think I would survive one way or the other. So all right, Miss Faye,
Yes.
I'm gonna toss you downstairs and you can hang out for a little bit. And I'm gonna bring the next guest up,
Okay.
and then we'll bring you both of you up at the end when I'm done with this one, and then we'll all have a little conversation. Okay.
Sure.
All
Mhm.
right. Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for coming. I just want to say you guys are amazing. I'm always blown away by how you guys come every time I stream, and you're always there supporting me. So thank you. I do appreciate it. And last but not least, Miss Arda. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I'm so glad you had time to come see me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, when you were here before, one of the reasons I asked you on is because when you were here before, we talked a lot about causes, but we didn't really talk about you. And I think that if people get to know each other better and understand where the other person's coming from and get in their brain a little bit more, then they're going to be more like, oh, hey, now I know why she's doing this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's really why I set this whole platform up, so people can, we can expand communities and spread the word and people can get to know each other. So, yeah. So Miss Arda, first of all, have you been doing good? Staying busy?
Yeah, I've been super, super busy.
Yeah,
really busy in a great way.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Despite, being in a pandemic and all that kind of thing.
It's always fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tried so hard to get a job from home and I just couldn't find one. But, I digress. So, Arda, tell us about your childhood growing up and dynamic and everything.
Oh, God. My childhood. I grew up in a suburban New Jersey town. I'm first generation. My parents migrated here from Turkey in 1963. My mother migrated. My father was still in the military. And my mother, who was a survivor of ethnic cleansing, migrated to Turkey when she and her family migrated to Turkey when she was like, I think 11 or 12 years old.
Wow.
So I'm first generation here. Even my sister was born, and my sister was actually born in Turkey. So we grew up in, suburban New Jersey. My parents were two people that probably should have never been married because they were like night and day. They would have literally been much better off, had they not gotten married.
Right.
My father was very, very artistic. My father was a really well-known textile designer in the garment district in New York City. And my mother was, she went to school to be a lawyer. So he was really artsy, hippie, kind of free spirit. And she was completely the opposite.
Yeah, like straight lace, got the briefcase.
Hyper conservative.
We need to stay on time. Yeah.
Hyper conservative. And they didn't get along. And we really bore the brunt of that. Oh, and my mother deeply, deeply resented me. And my father, they just suffered. And in their suffering of their marriage, again, we got the brunt of a lot of it. So it was, and I grew up in that dynamic where you didn't tell anybody. So years later, like many, many years later, I think I was 40 when I actually sat down, and I came from the type of family like you don't discuss anything. Nobody has a conversation. Okay. It was one of those that everything is. Even when my mother got ill, my mother developed Alzheimer's at a very young age. Like I think she started with dementia at 53.
Oh,
and
wow.
she was dead by 67. But even when she was sick, it was a secret. Her family. When I say her family, like her side of the family, her siblings. It was kept a secret because illness was almost shameful. It was just a really weird cultural thing,
So she ended up in Turkey. Where was she before Turkey? Or she was in Turkey and went to another part of Turkey?
We were originally, my father's family as well, but his family had migrated many, many years earlier. We are originally from the Caucasus. And we are what is called Karachay. Karachais are indigenous people to the Caucasus, to the Caucasus Mountains. And it drives me crazy when people call white people Caucasian because they're not Caucasian. We're actually Caucasian.
Oh,
we're from
snap.
The Caucasus.
So someone will call me Cracker from now on. I am not Caucasian.
You're not Caucasian. I'm Caucasian. When Stalin was in power, this is during World War II, he targeted 6 ethnic groups.
Uh-huh.
And why am my Adobe Flash player is going crazy all of a sudden? Oh my God.
Oh. Well, you're fine on my end, if that helps.
When Stalin was in power during World War II, he targeted 6 minority ethnic groups. Karachais, we were the first ones to go. So we were getting slaughtered, we were getting death marched, the whole thing, just ethnic genocide, essentially, ethnic cleansing. So they had to escape. They had to escape. So they escaped to Turkey. So they never even talked about that. So that was never discussed.
So that's like all you know about it right there?
That's really, I think my family is very fractured for so many reasons. There's so much generational trauma that they've never dealt with. And there was so much resentment between my mother and father. Like, it's just real. It's unfortunate. And they're the type of people that could just kind of shove everything under the rug. And I was the same way, up to a certain point. And I'm like the complete opposite of them. So I'm happy to have the conversation to learn more. I'm dying to know more. We're indigenous people. Yeah. So everything that I learn about my original culture and my history, I have to learn elsewhere because it's not a conversation. Well, both of my parents are gone at this point. They both passed away. But my, I'm not really close to her side of the family. But our history is fascinating. It's a fascinating history.
I feel the same way. Like, I used to, ask my Nana to tell me stories about her parents because they immigrated in the end of the 19th century, and it was like 1875-ish or something, from Italy, and then they met in Boston and fell in love, and they only lived 100 miles apart from each other in Italy, and just never, because they were in 2 separate towns, they never met.
It's amazing.
Then they had 11 children. So I'm the same way. I think it's just, it's your history. It's where you came from. But why wouldn't you want to know that, right?
Absolutely.
So they had your sister in Turkey before they moved over here, and then had you here?
Mm-hmm. My sister was born in Turkey, and she was only a couple months old when they moved here. My father was still in the military, so he came 2 years later. And then I was born here.
Nice. That's awesome. Cute dog. So just the two of you growing up, then they didn't have any other kids after you?
They had my brother in between us. To this day, I can't tell. He died. He died before I was born. To this day, I cannot even tell you how he died because that wasn't discussed.
God. Oh, that's horrible. Everybody wants answers. I mean, in a way, I'm kind of glad you didn't meet him because then it would just hurt you more.
Yeah,
it's it hurts bad enough that you didn't get the opportunity, but if you would have known him, and then wow. So your sister doesn't talk about it either?
No, my sister can't even discuss. My sister cannot discuss the trauma we endured in childhood because she's never dealt with it. She suffers. My sister is traumatized and she's never faced it. So she can't have a conversation about it. It's everything. It's so repressed. Like, repression is the thing in my family.
Yeah. And then you came out like, oh, fuck this shit, I'm gonna say what I want.
No, I was like that too in the beginning.
Well, I meant when you got older.
Absolutely. I think I was about 40 when I finally was like, wait a minute, none of this is right. Like, this just isn't right. Yeah. And I remember I went to a therapist and I told her my story, my childhood story. She was so dumb. Now, a therapist, a good therapist, is not supposed to show any emotion. They can be empathetic, but she was so shocked by my story, by my childhood. And my childhood was pretty brutal, She was so dumbfounded. She goes, that's one of the worst stories I've ever heard. I was like, that is the last time. I knew in my mind I'll never come back here again. Because she was so taken by the story and she was like emotional about it. She's like, oh my God, I don't know how I was like, oh my God, that's not what I want to hear. I need somebody
Yeah,
to be
no,
objective,
I
you
need
know?
someone that's strong and will lift me up,
Right.
not crumble with me. Right.
Right. So it was, yeah, it was just really weird. It's a very weird dynamic that still exists. And because of it, my relationship with my sister is very, very difficult. It's very strained, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, I
very, very
bet.
strained. And it's unfortunate because she suffers.
Yeah. I just want to say real quick, I totally understand the therapist thing. I have seen 3 different therapists in my life, and one of them was close to kind of understanding what I've been through because she's got PTSD, so that was a step in the right direction. The other 2 were totally clueless, and I don't think they'd ever gone through anything bad in their life except for college exams, like nothing. Just their lives were great, you know. So then I felt like, well, you don't understand the fucking thing I'm saying right now. But both of those 2 that had never been through much shit in their life, they were like, "Oh, you poor thing," and I was like, "The fuck! I don't want pity. Fix me." You know, and that's what I got was, "Oh, do you need a tissue? You holding my hand, you poor thing, patting my hand." I'm like, "You're reading me wrong here, lady and guy. You're both reading me wrong. This isn't working." So no, I can understand that part. It's yeah, that's not what you need at that moment.
No, you just need a real therapist doesn't solve your problems. They just create the space for you to have the self-realization, to develop the self-understanding, the self-awareness, and the realization that you need. Sometimes silence is really powerful, and they can
Absolutely.
advise you and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want what you don't want is a therapist that's going to advise you from an emotional space. And
Right.
that's what she did. And it was like, ooh, I'm never coming back here again.
Yeah, no. So did you see other therapists? Did you try to go back to another therapist, or you just gave up on it?
I kind of gave up on it at that point.
Yeah.
I gave up on it. And it wasn't really until much later in life that I really faced up to all of it. Everything that I endured in my life, and realized that, okay, this really isn't normal. Like this isn't how it's supposed to be. And as a result of that, you have a lot of your own shadow work, that you have to face. And it was really, well, believe it or not, seminary is where I really came to grips with everything.
I was just about to go there next. So, did you do the right out of high school to college deal?
Right out of high school to college.
Okay.
Seminary came much later in life, but it wasn't a traditional seminary, not the kind of seminary that Josh went to. This was an interfaith seminary. Dr. Josh, forgive me. The idea of this seminary is you have to get all your own garbage out of the way before you could be of service to anybody in the world. So
that makes a lot of sense, honestly.
So you want to talk about digging deep and getting beyond your own religious trauma or whatever kind of trauma you've endured. But getting beyond religious trauma was a big part of it, because people don't realize how damaging religion is. Religion is horrible. Religious trauma, when you're an atheist, it's very easy to say to people, oh, well, it's all BS, this and that. Just forget about it. Don't worry about it. And it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. People don't just give up on it that easily. And I am, as you know, a humanist minister. So what does that mean? It means that I believe in human hands doing the work before any type of supernatural abstractions. I don't believe in supernatural abstractions. I don't believe in God per se. I don't believe in deities. I don't believe in any of that kind of stuff. I believe that people are sacred. I believe that life itself is sacred. I believe that whatever this evolutionary force that has created all of us is just miraculous. I believe we have evolved. We are.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe in anything supernatural.
Right.
I believe in maybe we're part of a larger consciousness You know, I do believe that we are all pieces to a larger puzzle. And I believe that every one of us is a necessity. And I believe there's something very sacred in the relationships that we develop. And I believe it's our responsibility to care for one another.
Absolutely.
You know? And for me, being a minister is really companioning people in their journey throughout this life. And the people that we are companioning, the people that we serve the most, happen to be LGBTQ IA2S people that are, people in the queer community that are really, really traumatized by religion, evangelicals, people that come from fundamentalist families that have told them that they're abominations. And, that's the work that we do. And
not to mention the ones that try some kind of therapy to beat it out of them and tie them up and all the crap they try to do to
and they're still doing it.
God.
They're still doing it.
Oh yeah, no, I know. Actually, Mike Pence was actually someone who was it Indiana? Wasn't he from Indiana? And he was like on the forefront of trying to continue on conversion therapy, converting people back to what they're supposed to be. Yeah, that's why I never liked that. Yeah.
We have so many people that come to us that have been put through conversion therapy. And if I say to them, and they come with this belief that they are an abomination, if I say to them, look, God isn't real, God doesn't exist, you're sweating over something.
Right.
I can't say that because that doesn't register. Deconstruction is a process. And it takes time. And what we do is we just actually did a workshop, God is Gay. I think I might have told you about it the last time I was on.
Yeah, you were talking about doing that. How did that go? I totally forgot to ask you. Oh, good.
Amazing. We had a huge turnout. A huge turnout. We got so many emails and responses, people saying, you're literally saving lives. You're literally saving lives. And I got an email last night from a queer person who said to me, she said she felt like essentially like her life had no meaning, like she was lost. Grew up fundamentalist family, the whole thing, and she was ostracized by her community once she came out. She's a person who's older, and she's still traumatized. And she said, She said, you're saving my life with what you're doing. And that to me is, if you get me started on religion, especially evangelical Christianity.
I better not let you go too far with that, seriously.
Because
I know how you are. Yeah.
Especially evangelical Christianity, which is literally, it undergirds everything in this country politically. Right. And it supports patriarchy, capitalism, colonization, all of the things that are horrific, all of the things that are the problems with this country. It's all undergirded by evangelical Christianity, and you got Ronald Reagan really to thank for that, really bringing it to the forefront. Oh, yeah. But I'm not going to get started. So
so let's continue on. So you went to college. Mm-hmm. And
I got my degree in international marketing. I had a great career. I've actually
my sister used to do marketing. She made like $600,000 a year in the 90s. Yeah, it pays well.
I had a great career doing a lot of different things. And my last career before going to seminary, I was traveling, doing a lot of travel. I had the life that most people everybody was like, oh my God, your life is so great and it's so cool and you travel so much. And I was like, is this it? Really? Is this all that there is to life? And I was really unhappy and unfulfilled, I think is the better word. And I just up and went to seminary on a whim, not fully knowing what I was getting myself into.
Right.
But I've always been that type of person. Like even as a kid, I was always a seeker, right? But like, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What are we supposed to be doing?
How does this thing work? I need to know how it works.
Yeah. Right. And by the time I was 10, I had read the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran. I had read all three. Not that I fully understood, not that I understood anything of what I was reading, but I had the desire, right?
Yeah.
So by 10, I had read all three of them. And I did go down that religious path of trying to figure it out until finally, you you realize like this is just not how it works.
Right. Yeah. And that's that's the thing, and I hear that so much. People come out of seminary and they stop in the middle of it, or they finish it and then they go, "What the?" But most of them end up doing it in the middle of schooling, and it
really
hits them
depends.
then.
It depends on the seminary that you go to. If you're going to something like what's his name seminary, if you're going to an evangelical seminary, it's indoctrination. You're literally being indoctrinated. If you go to something like New York Theological Seminary, it's a whole different experience. Or if you go to the seminary I went to, it's a whole different experience. What you're learning the mystical aspects of these religions, and the common thread, and it's not the literal crap.
Yeah,
it's
crap.
not the fundamental.
That's one of my favorite words.
It's crap.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of it is just based off of people's beliefs. Like if someone believes that crystal's going to make them feel better, that crystal's going to make them feel better because it's in your head, and your brain can do amazing things.
Absolutely.
It makes people pop positive on pregnancy tests, and they're not pregnant because they want to be so bad. Stuff like that happens. So,
but there's something to be said for that power.
There's
absolutely. Something to be said for that power that we have, that we don't even really fully know how to tap into. But the mind is a very powerful thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Religion, not so much. Or religion is very powerful. It shouldn't be as powerful as it is because it's
fact.
If religion is a road, can be a road of it can be a road to deep self-awareness, but people don't use it that way. It's used for control.
Right. No, it's true. It's true. So let's bring Faye back in, and she can join this conversation since we've segued off of you anyways. And might as well bring her up in here. Welcome back, Faye.
Hello.
So this is the part where you guys get to talk shit or whatever you want to do, or ask each other questions, or tell the chat to fuck off. Whatever you want to do. You're the guest. You can do it.
We're from New Jersey, so that's just a given.
Right. Yeah, between the two of you, I'm probably in trouble here. I came from the gentle part of the Northeast, not the, what time is it? Fuck off.
It's not that bad.
Honestly, I was in New York City, and I was driving a truck through New York City, and I ended up in the Riverside neighborhood. And I know you know where that is, and not meant for trucks. And, so I pulled off the highway, and I was going by the directions that I had, not the right ones, because there was some construction shit and they had the road closed. So I pulled up, and I was like, I can't go anywhere. I have to go this way. The road's closed. So I took a right, and I ended up in the middle of all these big, huge, beautiful brownstones. And I was like, shit, this isn't right. And I was like, well, I'm going to go left, because it's easier than going right on a small street with a bunch of cars when you're in a tractor trailer. So I go left, and I see this little old man walking down the street, and he's got a little fedora, and he's got a really pretty scarf on. And I just knew instantly he was gay, because no straight man wears a scarf like that, not even an old Italian man. And he had a really nice double-breasted suit on. I mean, he looked dressed to the nines. I think he was just going to the store. He had a cane, and he's walking along. And I said, excuse me, sir. And he looks at me and he goes, you're lost, aren't you? But he had an Italian accent. And I was like, yes, sir, I am. Go down here. And he told me how to get back to the highway. But before that, as I was turning, there was people. And I was like, excuse me. And they just walked right in front of the truck. Excuse me. Okay, they're not going to help me. I'll just keep yelling, excuse me, until someone helps me. And what do I find? A little old Italian man, which was perfect, because he kind of, like, I looked at him and I thought that's what my grandfather would look like. You know what I mean? At that point, if he was still alive. So, but anyways, yeah. So I've had some interesting experiences with people in New York City and such. I think it's just a roll of the dice in any big city.
I don't drive in New York City.
I wouldn't suggest it, man. Especially not in a big truck.
But I don't like it.
I took the top part this much off the top of a trailer, and about 5 or 6 feet back, I opened it like a sardine can on the overhead rail system. Because the rail system went down and the road went up, and I didn't know it. And I was cutting underneath of it because that's what I was told to do. Go here, go here, go here, go underneath, take a left. It's right there on your right. Cool. Okay. Yeah. And I heard, and my whole truck started slowing down. And I went, shit. And I dropped the airbags on the back of the truck and let the trailer go down. And then I hit the gas and I brought them back up before the trailer hit the tires. And I got out and it was just shredded. And I was like throwing my hat on the ground. Damn it, I just lost my job. I know it. I'm fucked. But no, they'd fire me. But then I call the safety. This is the best part of the story. So I call the safety lady that worked, they're in charge of all the accident paperwork and making sure everybody's logs are right and all that stuff. So I call her and I'm like, you're not going to believe this shit. So I took a picture of the truck and I sent it to her. Now, mind you, like I had like my first ever smartphone, and the pictures were horrible. But so I have a smartphone now. I took a picture of it. I texted it to her. I was all excited and that I could do that. And I was like, whatever you need me to do. I just can't lose my job. I can't lose my job. And she's like, well, can you go back and take pictures of the signs that said it was a truck route? I said, wait a minute. You want me to drive back through there and ruin the trailer more? Or what are you asking me? She's like, well, you can't do that. And I said, no, it's a one way. I'm going to end up right back here underneath that damn train track again. She goes, oh, well, never mind. I think we'll be all right. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? You want me to go destroy the trailer again to get pictures?
Oh my.
Yeah, it wasn't, I'm like, have you ever, because she was in Pennsylvania. I was like, have you ever been to downtown New York? She goes, no. And I said, I'm not going back. And she said, okay. So anyways. But anyway, so Arda was on a little roll there. I'm going to let her keep going. So you guys had the conference deal. That came out good. And then what have you been doing since then with that?
The workshop you're talking about?
I'm sorry, workshop. I keep calling it a conference.
We have another one coming up called The Hidden Homosexual. And I'm not teaching it. It's actually being taught by a dear friend of mine who was actually a dean of mine in seminary. He is the vice president of the Office of Research and Development at Rutgers University. And he used to be at NYU, just brilliant theologian, brilliant.
Right.
But he has the same ideologies that I do when it comes to religion and that kind of thing. He's actually a Buddhist, but he was a lifelong Christian. Yeah. And he was a Franciscan monk. He doesn't normally tell people that. I just outed him right now, but he was a Franciscan monk for 2 years. Wow. And he left because he was so, shall we say, disappointed with the reality of the Catholic Church and Franciscan life. But they live like kings. I mean, if you hear him tell the stories, they literally live like kings. But he's teaching it, and he himself.
What happened to the vow of poverty and all that shit? They don't.
Not in the Catholic Church. Oh no. No. Not in the Catholic Church.
So if you guys want to have a really good life and you want to live high on the hog, become a Franciscan monk for a little while and then leave. And you could just have a couple years of free food.
They pay for your education. You eat like a king. You trust me, you live a great life. You keep 98% of the men in the order are gay because they live with each other in this great, and at night they go to gay bars at night. They live,
Sorry, I was not ready for that.
It's true. It's true.
That is fucking mind-blowing.
The hypocrisy of the Catholic Church, more so than no, that's not true. Not more so. The hypocrisy of the Catholic Church is just astonishing. It's astonishing. And that
I grew up in the Catholic Church, so this blows my mind even more than it would someone who doesn't know the Catholic religion. Faye, didn't you grow up Catholic or something?
I'm third generation atheist.
Oh, never mind. I was thinking of somebody else then.
Yeah,
well,
no
good for
seminary
you.
school for me. No,
Yeah, no,
no
no, no, no,
Sunday
no.
school. No, none of that. No,
No. No.
no.
That's just crazy. I don't even know what to say about that. Anyway, so this guy that was a Franciscan monk and is
Yeah,
now Buddhist, he's going to be running the next workshop.
He's going to be teaching the next workshop. It's called The Hidden Homosexual. And what it is it's about exploring queer identity in history and its effects socially, culturally, and how, gender categorizing genders, male, female, whatever, has led to internalized homophobia. And it's really talking about human sexuality in broader terms and stepping away from the binary identities that we've been committed to for so long. And we kind of broke the ice with that in the first workshop, God is Gay, talking about my portion of it was more talking about biology, not that I'm a doctor, but just from the information that I found. And we gave them all the resources, all the sources that I referenced, just the biology. I mean, there are over 1,500 species in nature that show homosexual behavior. We're the only ones that are homophobic about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really. Absolutely. Granny was just talking about that the other night. You'll have to
we're
go
the
check
only
out her
ones
stream.
that are homophobic, And
yeah, no. Well, the only one's racist too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
well, that's all
gray
connected.
seal doesn't care if the other seal's black. Like, you don't care.
Homophobia, racism, all of that stuff is connected. They don't live in silos. All of it is connected. That's what intersectionality is about.
Right.
And that was really the topic. My portion was talking about intersectionality, really getting into intersectional feminism, which is not just about women. When I say intersectional feminism, people think it's about women. No, talking about heteropatriarchy and how just the systems within heteropatriarchy and how harmful it is. And I told you this the last time I was on the show, talking about how, patriarchy hurts men as well as women. Patriarchy is harmful. Toxic patriarchy is harmful to cisgender hetero men as well. It's why their rate of suicide
because they have
is so
to
high.
act like something that they're not.
Right.
You know, you got to be masculine and don't show your emotions, and you got to be in charge of the household, and you need to earn the money, and all that shit puts a lot of stress on them. Absolutely.
And all of that stuff is woven into the fabric of this country, and religion supports it.
Yep.
Religion supports all of it.
More than that, though. I mean, through religion, we are basically, it's like, ladies, you have to be modest. You know, don't be sexual, don't be this, because even the men here will get you. And the men don't go, oh wait, I'm so offended, I'm not like that. They just go, oh yeah, you have to be careful because men will get you. You know what I mean? It's like, you hear the women complaining, but you don't hear male voices going, whoa.
No, because everybody will hate them, and they're not a man
ankles
anymore.
I don't care if you show shoulders, I'm not, it's like, yeah, that's expected of me. You don't hear the outrage. You should.
Right.
But it's like, oh well, basically, if you listen to them, it just sounds like, well, there's a certain portion of our population who can't control themselves, and there's a certain amount of our population who is victimized, and you can't behave this way and you can't behave that way, and if you act effeminately, that's a problem, but if you act more masculine, that's a problem because you're too aggressive. Like, no matter what you do, you're wrong.
Oh yeah, well, and I feel like that goes for everybody, because there's always going to be somebody that's not happy. There's always going to be a group that's not happy with how you act or what you do or what you say or something. Everybody loves to judge each other, which also is one of the things that pisses me off so much about people that are religious, because they are the first ones to judge. They are the first ones to judge. What happened to loving thy neighbor? What happened to like trying, the olive branch and helping
not
people?
A stranger.
You will never. I'm sorry.
The love thy neighbor thing is a tribal member, not a true stranger.
That's
Yes.
exactly right.
Right.
That doesn't mean
exactly right.
somebody different from you. That means someone who is
Correct.
flying under your rules. That
Right.
and the thing is, it's like this is a modern community where someone who lives next to you isn't part of your tribe anymore. So love thy neighbor is really hard for people to get.
Yeah.
And,
I just
and
try to
it
love
should be
everybody till they
mind
give me
your
a
own.
reason not to.
Well, also it's like you don't have to love everyone. You can also not get involved in their business. Like it's like, oh, that person's an
Wait.
adult. If they want to eat a candy bar before bedtime, they can. This is
That's a
not gossip.
crazy idea. Keep your nose to yourself and don't interfere in other people's lives.
Do
Oh,
no
come
harm.
on.
Yeah.
That's what I teach. Do no
Yeah.
harm. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to love me. You don't even have to like me. But
Yeah.
just
Right.
don't harm me. Don't harm
Well,
others. It's that simple.
Exactly.
That's what I tell people. It's okay that we all have different opinions. It's okay that we have different beliefs. You're not going to find two people in the atheist community that agree 100% on anything.
Oh, you
It's
should hear me and my
everything.
mother
It's-
talk.
Yeah, really. But you're not going to just find somebody that, oh, we agree on 100% everything. That doesn't happen. We all have different beliefs. We all have different feelings. We're all products of our environment and situations and what we've learned, the wisdom and the knowledge we have gained. And that's just the way it is. We don't have to hate each other because of it. If someone that's in the Christian community wants to come onto my street, I don't care. Don't be a dick. Don't insult anybody. That's my rule, and anybody is welcome. Just don't, treat other people with respect as much as you want to be treated. That's all.
I do have some problems with some overly religious people because I don't like hearing that I need to obey or that
Yeah.
my grandmother was a bad person for not doing the God thing and that my mother's a bad person for not doing the God thing and how I should be doing the God thing. I just need to look and you know what? No.
See,
No,
but then that's people
and I've
butting
had
into where
people
they shouldn't be butting in. Exactly.
and
Yeah.
you hear but you'd be such the ideal wife. All you have to do is obey. No. Yeah, if I had $1 for every time I heard I'd be the ideal wife, I'd be a millionaire.
Right.
That's gross.
I know.
That is a gross thing to say to someone.
It is.
As if your identity is solely based on being somebody's wife.
You have no idea what this stuff has been said to me.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I can't
I
even
love
imagine.
this. It's like, oh, you break up with someone so they can move on with their lives and get married, have kids, things that you don't want to do. And, you get a message. I really miss your cooking. What? You don't miss me. You miss my cooking?
Well, if you pay me enough monthly, I'll send you a package of food.
Oh, what? It's like your absence is felt. I was like, I haven't done laundry in so long, I forgot how. What? Just because I have a little bit of OCD does not mean that my job is to serve you.
No, it's really, really not, folks. It's not. Well, and that's half the problem is it, and that's why I have so much problem with religion, because religion in general will sit there and tout that the woman's got to be in the kitchen and the man needs to bring home the bacon and you better make sure you're this kind of a wife or mother or whatever. You better wear a dress, don't have tattoos. I mean, you guys know that in the audience because you guys were watching Granny's stream, that asshole Fritz guy, some preacher. You'll have to check that out, Art. It was horrible. But it was also the way Granny handled it and what she had to say. I loved it. It was great. So you'll have to. And I came in and did some little spurts of opinions, like telling him to fuck off. That was my job. And it was a fun stream though, but he literally, when Granny was taping that, for you guys that saw it, when she was taping it, I literally pulled my hat off and threw it on the ground and said, "That's it. This motherfucker." Because I started out laughing like, whatever, dude, you're fucking stupid. And then I wasn't laughing anymore. Then I got pissed because he was throwing around a lot of fucking bull. Nobody's going to go to war and fight for a bull dyke with tattoos.
Huh?
Wait, what? What?
A
What?
man's only gonna go to war. Yeah, a man's only gonna go to war because he's got a good, clean, moral woman waiting for him at home. And I was like, "You motherfucker! Let me tell
Oh,
you
he
about
doesn't know
veterans."
anything about female pirate captains.
He
So
doesn't know shit about shit. He said, we have female vice president. We've had female astronauts. Blah 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 blah. And then 2 minutes later, he said, "You don't go around telling your daughters they can be astronauts. That's bullshit." And I'm like,
why? What?
"Oh my god! You just said that we have them." And
How
in a
old is
matter
this
of
person?
fact, he's I think mid-40s.
And he was a pastor, you said? Was
Yeah. Go to hey Ox, go grab that stream off of Granny's channel for me if you could, and throw it in. Whoever wants to do it, half of you are mods anyways, and throw that in for me, and we'll let I'll put it in the private chat for Arda so she can find it easy. Yeah, it was just horrible. Everything he just said so much shit. Like he was like, "What if I walked up here and I was wearing a skirt?" And Granny said,
What if you were?
"I'd probably tell you have a nice skirt."
I'd probably
Who
tell you
fucking
it's healthier
cares?
for you anyway, because in the summertime, especially, you get a lot of leg sweat, and you don't want to grow anything, do you? So you want the airy breeziness of like a skirt or a robe or something, so that your bits don't get moldy.
Right. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with a little bit of air.
I would prefer if everyone wore, things to let their nether regions breathe.
No, Susan, you are not the one missing. You are next Monday, now that everybody knows anyways. Actually, someone had to not come in tonight, and I'm going to put him on later. And Dr. Josh came in, but he's got twins that wake up every 45 minutes. So he could only stay on for a few minutes, and he had to go run off, and he might come back later for the after party. Speaking of the after party, I'm going to go ahead and throw...
a twin.
I'm going to throw the link in now. Your dad's a twin?
Mm-hmm.
My mom was a twin, but her brother died at childbirth. So she never...
have twins on both
I think
sides
that's
of my
why she
family.
wanted so many kids. She was trying to replace him or something. Because there was who has 7 kids in 11 years? Who does that? So, okay, everybody, this is the link to the after party. I'm going to throw that in here. And we'll end this here in a minute, and everybody can join us over there. Everybody from the audience can jump in if you want. Once we get over there, I will throw the panel link into the chat. Are you ladies going to join us for the after?
I have to run.
Okay.
I have some emails that I have to return. And... Say that again?
I said I'll keep Faye hostage then.
I'm having an electrical storm. I don't know how long I'm going to live.
Well, that's okay. We'll keep you in for a little bit, and then if you have to ditch, you have to ditch.
Okay.
So I want to say, first of all, everybody that came in tonight, thank you so much for showing up. I really appreciate you guys. You always got my back, and it means a lot to me. Arda, it's always great talking to you. I'm always interested in what you have coming up next. And if you ever want to pop into any of my open mics on Wednesday nights at the same time to promote what you're doing, feel free. I'm all about it. I love to hear that you're doing it.
Thank you.
For someone that came from where you came from and is not homosexual, to be standing up and doing this and helping people, it's very commendable. So thank you for doing that for our community. I really do appreciate that. Faye, I love you, and I always appreciate your wittiness. And Arda hasn't even heard a Faye rant yet, but we'll get one of those one day. She is like rant queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really is. So, okay, we'll jump over to that after party. Art, I'll throw you a link to that stream in Twitter, so you can check that out since you have to go. And everybody who is not coming to the after party, so nobody, because you guys are all going to show up, right? Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another, and most of all, have peace in your life.